The San Francisco International Arts Festival celebrates the arts by bringing together a global community of artists and audiences and by presenting innovative projects that focus on increasing human awareness and understanding within and across cultures. Here to tell us more is Executive Director Andrew Wood. Andrew, thank you so much for joining us here on Live in the Bay.
Lovely to be here.
Yes, I'm so excited to talk about the festival. So first things first, for anyone who doesn't know, give me the overview of what it's about.
It's theatre, music and dance, and we present local artists and international artists. Generally, the international artists are people that haven't got, that don't have, they've not been to the United States before and don't have US representation. So we're presenting people that have been here for the first time. And over the course of the last 20 years, I'd say we've probably presented artists from about 60 different countries. And it's a body of work that wouldn't have been seen in the United States unless we'd done it. So that's the kind of that's what we do usually.
Amazing. And you just celebrated your anniversary.
It was our 20th anniversary.
Yes, 20th anniversary. You founded this in 2002.
Yes.
That is incredible. What goes into all of that work over the years?
Well, it's about a 2.5-year cycle. So I travel to see international artists work from about July through January. And then that work is going to be seen, not that coming year, but the following year afterwards. So we spend a lot of time raising money and getting visas for artists, for international artists, and also raising money with local artists. So there's about 50 different companies that are all part of the festival. And again, it takes us about between 1 and 2 years to raise the money to actually have all those people be part of it. And then another 6 months just to market and promote it.
Wow, so there's so much going into every single year.
Yes, yeah.
And this year, tell me a little bit about what is making it bigger and better, in your opinion.
Well, we've moved back to the Mission District. We were at the Fort Mason Center for a lot of years, and we really learned how to manage multiple venues there. But if you're going to be presenting, if you're programming at Fort Mason on a bank holiday weekend, which is what we were doing, you have to manage every single venue yourself because there's nobody else to do it for you. In the Mission, there are so many venues that you can't possibly manage them all. So what we do is we still produce out of some venues, but then we spend as much time sort of matchmaking between artists and venues to see what might be the best space for an individual artist to show their work. And then sort of putting a program around that and promoting it all as part of the festival. So that's how we ended up with about 50 companies this year.
Wow, that's incredible. Yeah. Yes, I love that. Well, you're taking it to the Mission District, which is going to have all of the different venues and different things that people can participate. There is so much happening. So first and foremost, let's go over the dates of when people can find this. Sure. And then let's get a little more specific and we'll look at some of the highlights of what people can expect. But when is the event happening?
We run from May the 1st to May the 12th. And so say 10 different venues in the Mission District.
And all of the programming is happening throughout those days. So what is something that people can look forward to? What's one of the big highlights?
Well, I think that some of the artists that are making their US debuts here are important to me because I've seen those works across the world and brought them to San Francisco. So the opening night is a company from Denmark called Cassandra Productions, and they have a piece titled The Soul Catcher. And their artistic director was actually born in San Francisco, but she's Swedish, so she's living on the other side of the world now. And it's a very intense piece. It's about a narcissistic personality disorder. So it's a really intense piece of theatre, but it's also an absurdist, fun piece of theatre. But it's an amazing journey.
Yeah, a great way to kick off this event.
It is. And then we have a young lady from Canada called Mikal Bilensky, and she has a piece titled Warm Up. And we're actually doing this with the San Francisco Bicycle Coalition, would you believe? Is that Mikal has a bike that's stationary on stage that she pedals uses a generator that powers all of the lights and the sound for her show. And it's really about a different approach to how we think about global warming and how we think about our response to it and how we make art with it. So Mikal's going to be doing that, and again, then it's going to be National Bike Day, is on May the 5th, Sunday, May the 5th. So Mikal is going to lead a bike ride for members of the Bicycle Coalition, and they're starting off at the Embarcadero and going all the way out to the Wave Organ. It's about 4.5 kilometers. But she's going to do her show, and it's really about the environment and about environmental awareness. So that's I saw that in Montreal in November 2022, and I've been looking forward to presenting the piece here so much.
Yeah,
since.
that's very unique.
Yeah.
I don't think I've heard anything like that before, so that's something to look forward to, definitely, that people can experience.
And then there's one company that's on tour of the United States, and they're in New York at the moment, and then they're going to Los Angeles, and then they're going to come to us. And that's the Fish Amble company. And they have a solo show, and it's also about mental health. It's a man who's I think it's agoraphobia, but he doesn't go out of the house. And he only goes out of the house for essential journeys and to impersonate Elvis Presley. And that's the only reason he leaves. And so there's this juxtaposition between this man who's having serious mental problems, but then finding the stage. And it's one of those really deep sort of emotional seesaw sort of productions.
Yeah.
And we're presenting that with Irish Culture Bay Area. So what we try to do is we try to find a local presenter that would be interested in the sort of work that we're doing, and then work together to make sure that the right audience gets to see it.
Yes, you're bringing these international ties and finding the tie locally, so I love that.
Yeah.
One of the other things that you said is really important about this festival is the music, so talk to me about that.
Yes, I think it's about half the program is now music. But when we first started, it was mainly theatre and dance. But when we moved to Fort Mason, they gave us a music venue, so we just started presenting more and more music. And now that we're back in the Mission again, and again we're sort of introducing artists or matchmaking between venues and artists, and there's a lot of really great music venues. And so, and we have histories with some of them. So we have things happening at El Rio. We have things happening at Bissap Baobab, we have things happening at the Red Poppy Art House, and then we're producing ourselves out of the Community Music Centre. So we have about 4 different music venues. We have about 25 different music concerts. And there's just such a rich, most of these are local artists. We have one person coming in from Paris, Tom Yang, but most of them live in San Francisco. And when you just look at the program, and there's music there from everywhere. It's a really rich mix of cultures, of vibrant ideas, of different melodies and sounds. We have Neblinas del Pacifico from Colombia. We have Fanfare Zambaleta from the Balkans. We have Melody of China from China. We have Rachel Garland, who's a brilliant, brilliant folk singer. I saw her a couple of weeks ago, and she's fantastic. We have a trans evening with Shauna Virago. That's also at El Rio. And there's a lot of it's free. So most of it's ticketed, but some of the shows are free as well. So you can see the Pandan Leaf Collective is free. Natalie Cressman is free. The Pandan, and the Left Coast Chamber Orchestra. One of the interesting things was, out of the free shows, we asked El Rio what they wanted, so they chose LGBTQ artists. But then they said, but we want the Left Coast Chamber Orchestra as well. So the Left Coast Chamber Orchestra normally they're performing in the concert circuit, but they're going to be performing out on the patio at El Rio underneath Carmen Miranda, and it's going to be a free concert at 6 o'clock on Thursday, the 2nd of May. And it's just an interesting juxtaposition between what they're doing and what El Rio wants. And so we were just glad to sort of make the connection between the two of them and then promote them as part of the festival.
I can see that just so many details are being poured into this from you.
Yeah.
And I have one final question for you before I let you go. As the executive director, what do you want everyone to take away from this experience? There's so much music and art.
I think that we still live in one of the finest cities in the world. And we're bringing in some international elements that I think enrich the local scene. But the local scene is really, really vibrant and really, really powerful and really, really diverse. And I think if you take anything away, it's just that this is around us. And all we're doing is kind of pulling it together into a focused, intense couple of weeks. But you can probably see most of this happening at any time. It's just we've kind of curated it together as one thing. And so you can see 2, 3, 4 shows in a day. You can eat out there's going to be a dozen different restaurants on our website where you can get discounted meals if you have a festival ticket. So you can spend the day in the Mission. You can see lots of different types of art, from walking tours in the morning all the way through late-night concerts at Bissap Baobab in the evening. And
Andrew, it sounds like there is a little something for everyone. So much happening over your span of all the days of the event. So I know that people are going to want to check it out. Thank you so much for joining me here and sharing a little bit more about it.
Thank you. Thank you so much.